Dogs run fast.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into my dog's favorite podcast, the Dynasty Dogs. I am your host for this evening, Michael Anthony. Back with me in the doghouse is the man that hijacked my 7th grade yearbook and changed all the answers to it, Rich McAteer. How are you tonight?
I don't remember that, but I'm good. I'm shit sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, so little backstory about that real quick since I brought it up. Our 7th grade year, our school closed down. So there was going to be no 8th grade year for Richard and myself at our grade school. And they gave us basically like a few, questions that we had to answer to say goodbye and stuff like that. What we were excited for in our new schools. The one question was, and Rich and I had to interview each other. We chose each other as partners pretty often in grade school. So Rich asked me the question, how do you feel about having to go to a new school? And I believe you changed I don't know what my original answer was. It just now says, so sad, I want to cry. And then
It probably wasn't far off.
no, it probably wasn't. And then they something about like, what did I want to be when I grow up? You put a rock star or a professional wrestler. One of those things is right. The other one, I don't know where the fuck you got that from, but you changed all my answers.
Neither of which came true.
No, not even a little, not even close. So yes, Rich McAteer back in the doghouse, the hijacker of all things sentimental in our 7th grade lives. How are you, Rich?
Oh, I'm lovely. I'm feeling great.
We are 13 days away from the NFL draft officially today. How are you feeling? Are you excited to finally get this process over?
No, I mean I kind of like the lead up. It's been quiet for us Super Bowl champions. Oh God, so you know what I mean. What a lame off season. Not much movement. But I'm sure Howie's going to heat something up in 13 days. So, and we'll be live for it. So.
Yeah, we will be live for it. We were going to mention that during the show, but I guess it's good to just mention it now since we are going to get into our news and notes segment. But yeah, Rich and I will be going live as he will be joining us when he gets home from work. He will be jumping on with us to finish the rest of it out. We will have guests throughout the show. Right now, we have Nino Brown coming on for the New England Patriots pick. What's that?
I said the Patriots pick.
Yeah, and then we have our buddy Ben McCown from the Super Dynasty Bros jumping on for the Lions pick. We have possibly our friend Dustin jumping on with us for the Denver Broncos pick, and then we have earlier on Matthew Montgomery going to be jumping on with us for the Cincinnati Bengals pick. So we are going to have a multitude of guests throughout the draft. And if you're interested in hanging out with us or even, jumping on with us for a short period of time, we'll talk to anybody, Rich and myself. We'll have a conversation with anybody, and especially when it comes to sports. We're very, very friendly people here at the Dynasty Dogs.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy night for us for sure, but I look forward to it.
I'm going to be suited up. Are you planning on being suited up, Richard? At least for the top four?
No. Maybe. I don't know. I promise you this. I will not sit through the whole show without going to the bathroom. There will be a time where I get up from this seat and go take a leak.
Yeah. You have to promise me you'll keep it going if I have to go. Also, you'll just keep talking. Well, I'll just start singing. So it'll be all right.
Yeah.
But yes, that we will be live for the NFL draft for night one. Very exciting stuff. But let's get into the news and notes, our That Bites segment. We do have some news, not a whole lot, right? Let's start with this, a little sad because this is kind of our childhood. Juilo Jones retired. A dominant force as a wide receiver position. Eagle great.
I was going to say Eagle legend right there.
Yeah, I think Rich put a parlay bet in for anytime touchdown for Juilo Jones for every single week.
I think
it hit one time.
Twice, I think. I think it was twice.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of the most dominant wide receivers in our generation. a very good fantasy football asset. Maybe not as great as we wanted him to be. He's still very, very good, but just an absolute dominant wide receiver for an NFL team, over the Atlanta Falcons. It sucks that he never got a chance to get a ring.
Yeah, and you know what? He kind of like when he kind of like I guess fell off. Like he fell off quick, man. Like as soon as he left Atlanta, it kind of he went to Tennessee, and it was like, what the fuck? He was
Well,
like, it was
that's where
done.
all dreams go to die for wide receivers.
Yeah, yep. That's right. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Problem. I mean,
Really?
probably. I would have said T.O. wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, but Julio doesn't have the off the field issues and everything like that. Julio Jones
Sure.
was a straight like go to work, ball out. Did no nonsense type of wide receiver. He has a statistic. I want to actually. That's a good question. Where is he statistically?
He's got to be pretty up there.
Yeah. Career yards, 13,000 yards as a wide receiver, all-purpose yards. Let's see. Let me see how can I look the receiving yards. Where do you think he is? He's probably got to be in the top 20, I would think, right?
Yeah. He's got to be up there. What is he? What is his all time right now?
So he has 13,000 total yards.
13,703.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell me where he's at.
Side note here, just to let SC know, I'm taking my weekly picture of Cody Rhodes because I do that every week.
Yeah, if you ever watch our videos, Rich is always taking pictures
with a pink heart.
with a pink heart.
He can't say it.
It's all time. Let's see. Most receiving yards all time. Oh, Julio looks like he's at the top. Towards the top.
What? No, he's not at the top of the fucking
I said
all-time
towards the top.
receiving.
16 yards. He's number 16.
Okay. So he's top 17.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
hey, that's still, higher than we'll ever get, right?
Yeah.
He has more receiving yards than Torrey Holt, Andre Reed, very good company. Who else? Steve Largent, Jason Witten, which I didn't expect that one in there. D Hop. I think he's probably going to end up with more than D Hop. Irving Fryer.
I don't know.
Harbaugh.
Well, what's Hopkins got? What's Hopkins got?
12,965. I don't think Hopkins is getting
another. I don't know. Because he ain't. I mean,
I think Mike Evans has a chance to pass him at 24 with 12,684 yards.
Oh, he's 13,703. I don't know. That's going to be tough for Hopkins. My personal all-time favorite wide receiver, but yeah, Mike Evans is the most underrated. I'll go on the record and say Mike Evans is the most underrated wide receiver of all time, in my humble opinion.
What is your favorite? We'll close it off on the Julio conversation real quick. What is your favorite Julio play, if you can remember one?
When he didn't catch up all in the end zone against the Eagles. That's the fucking first one.
Yeah.
And him winning me like $70, I guess, for the anytime TD at plus 700 on the tenor.
For me, it's the plays he made when he ended up becoming a defensive back, where he would just hit the shit out of if Matt Ryan threw a pick, he was absolutely just trucking dudes. And then there's that, back of the end zone catch he had against the New England Patriots, where he just ripped the ball out of the dude's hands.
And I think he caught a touchdown from Mohamed Sanu.
He did. Mohamed Sanu, former quarterback, though, so let's not.
Yeah. I love those plays, though. Like when it's like there's a little bit of trickery.
Mm-hmm. You are a trickster, so I get it.
Yeah.
Let's go into our next bit of news here. Joe Milton traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a 5th. I believe they also sent like a 6th or 7th round pick.
They sent a 7th.
They sent a 7th round pick to Dallas with the Joe Milton trade. I don't really understand this one all that much. From either side.
I don't understand anything that goes on in in Dallas. I really don't. They gave up. What did they give up? Was it a 3 or a 5 for Trey Lance?
Fourth.
A fourth, right in the middle. All right.
Yeah.
Who's now on the Los Angeles Chargers? Does it make any sense? I
Nothing
like
makes
Joe
sense.
Milton. Dude, I was barking at you for fucking Joe Milton to start over Drake May. I liked Joe Milton. I liked him in college, but he got hurt. Um, it Everything perplexes me with Dallas. So I don't really know what to expect. I think they just kind of go into things and they're like they throw a wet noodle at the wall and hope it sticks. But I don't know. What do you think of it?
It doesn't make any sense to me. From what I understand, I think part of why it happened is because he wanted to be a starter, which obviously any young quarterback wants to start, wants to play, right? I just don't think he's that good. He did show some flashes, right? In that game against Buffalo. First off, he fucked New England's draft pick up, right? They would have had the number one overall pick if they didn't win that football game, right? And then
Sure.
Buffalo had nothing to really play for. So he looked good in garbage time, essentially. And I don't.
But like,
I I obviously we both watched the film. I saw him live down at the Senior Bowl last year. This is just a one throw type of player. Like he'll rocket it and he has no touch whatsoever. Like he's got to learn to be a more um, layered thrower of the football. Will that happen in Dallas? I have no idea. Would it have happened in New England? I have no idea. Um, he's got a lot of work to be done as a processor, as a thrower of the football, and especially coming from Tennessee. You know, we've seen Tennessee offensive players not really make the transition well because the offense is so wide open.
mhm.
So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see
I
what
don't know.
happens there.
As far as garbage time, there's no garbage time to a guy who's auditioning for a job. You
For
know
a
what I
spot.
mean?
No, that's fair.
So, and with a guy like Dak who gets hurt an awful lot,
Mhm.
I think it could be Jerry's getting kind of tired of, Dak getting hurt all the time or not making any move upwards, always making lateral moves. So they could go with a switch. I doubt it, but it could be something like you see where Dak gets injured and then Milton takes over and then kind of wins the job from there. And we're like kind of, he gets hurt week 4 and plays out the rest of the season. Dak comes back maybe week 8, but they continue to give it to Milton. So I don't know. It was kind of like you said, it was his decision to where to go because I heard the Eagles were also in on it, but he
Mhm. He
chose
didn't
to
want to
go to
come here.
Dallas. I mean, who does? Who wants to come to a Super Bowl winning
Well, I think
team?
he
Weird.
has a better chance of starting in Dallas because of
Sure.
Dak being
Yeah.
older, injuries. Like he has a better chance to start there. So I kind of understand
Sure.
that on that aspect of it. If he wants to play,
Yeah.
for sure. Um,
Mhm.
I just don't know if I see it. Obviously, any quarterback can develop, right? Any player can
Mhm.
develop into something that we never expect. You know, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. While I don't think Brock
Yeah.
Purdy's the best quarterback in football,
No.
he went to the right system at the right time. I don't know if
Mhm.
that's in Dallas with Schottenheimer. I don't know if they have the best skill position. I mean, they have one of the best wide receivers in football. They don't have much else
Yeah.
after that. So
Sure.
we'll have to see. Uh, Next couple news bits: Geno Smith gets a 2-year extension. It seems to me the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders have made a decision that Geno Smith is their guy for the foreseeable future.
Mm.
In my opinion, especially with Pete Carroll, I kind of like this move. We talked about it. I think Geno is underrated. I think this offense with Pete Carroll, I think they're going to address the running back position. They got Brock Bowers. We talked about Jacoby Myers just being a very steady Eddie type wide receiver. I think this is a decent offense with Geno at the helm, at least for the next few years.
Yeah, I think there's really two, in my opinion, three guys at the top of the quarterback position, and the rest are a dice roll, right? You got Cam Ward, you got, in my opinion, Dart is number 2, and then you got Shedeur at number 3 for me. And then after that, it's kind of a crapshoot. What's going to happen? Maybe they take Milrow, but you have Ashton Genty there, who's a top running back, obviously. But you're also walking into a draft that has a deep running back room as well. Um, in my opinion, they might go wide receiver because of the way that the draft is set with the running backs.
Might take
But
another first round tight end again for there.
oh my god, yeah, third time's a charm.
Yeah,
Um, but it's so deep with running backs. You can get Amarion Hampton later if you want to move up in the back end of the first, or maybe he slips into the second. That you got to. We went over a bunch of guys that you can easily find a running back that if you don't get Genty there, there's still
Travion
other guys that are.
Henderson.
Yeah,
You
there's still
got
guys that are like
Sean. Yeah,
Quinion Judkins. You got guys that are going to be there that are very solid and viable guys. So really drafting a quarterback on a dart throw, no pun intended, when you got like a plethora of wide receivers, tight ends, hopefully they don't take one, and running backs really doesn't make sense. So signing Geno is a smart move in my opinion. Even if you want to go into a which looks like it would be a little bit deeper of a quarterback draft next year. I haven't looked too far into it, but it seems like there's more than 3 guys that you can choose from. Um, Even if
potentially.
you want to, yeah, if you want to kick the can down the road, take a look. You got the kind of stopgap in Geno.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I definitely think Geno's going to get at least give him 2 to 3 years of just solid quarterback play. Will they look to
Sure.
upgrade that next year? Maybe. Maybe they take a guy in the second, third round, probably third round at this point since
Mhm.
you just extended Geno. Maybe they take. And I was just talking to Dustin, a guy I'm going to talk about earlier, a guy like Will Howard in
I
like the
was about to
third
say
round.
Will Howard. Yeah.
I kind of now like we were talking about it. I was like, is he kind of like a Nick Foles almost? Right?
I don't know, dude. His combine was shit, but
Yeah, but he's a
I don't know.
he.
That
So
national
when you look
champion.
at the stretch of what he did at Ohio State at the end and in the playoffs, he was another quarterback. It
Mhm.
kind of reminded me of like a Nick Foles when the lights were brightest, right?
Mhm.
He became, he wasn't the best quarterback 4 quarters every single game, right? But when you needed him most, he was that guy,
Mhm.
right? Big body frame. Him and Nick Foles are the same. Can make some very nice throws. Decent. Nick, he's more athletic than Nick Foles. I think Nick was okay as a mobile guy, but Will Howard offers a little bit more in that realm.
Mm.
That would be a very interesting spot for him in like the third round, and I think Nick Foles is almost like a fair comp for him.
Yeah, I mean, he has to get used to throwing to guys that aren't Ohio State guys. Like I said, in his combine, it was shit.
Yeah,
Um, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, but he, obviously at Ohio State was in a rhythm with his guys. That'd be nice, but yeah, I kind of see them kind of filling other needs around
yeah,
the
they should.
team,
They
and
have to.
then yeah, because you got a guy that I mean, you traded. It's like almost like they upgraded times a million when they went from my doppelganger and Gardner Minshew
Who's possibly going to
to
get traded now? By the way, I saw.
I thought they caught him.
No,
Minshew
he's
or
still
my god
no
the
Aiden.
my I was gonna say Minshew's in Kansas City.
Yeah,
They got to keep someone on the roster.
true.
Um, but yeah, they kind of like upgraded like times a million
Everywhere.
when they got him.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like you got a viable guy, build a team around him,
Yeah.
see what
We've
happens.
seen Geno look good at points,
Hmm.
right? We've
Yeah,
seen him be a very capable starter, especially with Pete Carroll. I think Geno is one of the cheapest buys for a quarterback right now that,
yeah. I agree. And
I'm interested in.
he was the kind of guy that you seen bounce around a little bit, and then kind of he was a higher. I think what was he second round 30 something
Mhm.
draft pick. And he kind of landed in a system in Seattle where he kind of found his way there, and he kind of made a name for himself there when he was at when he was in New York. He was kind of like New York, the Jets. You already know how that
Yeah,
is.
it's over.
Um,
Yeah.
so he found his way there. Um, so he was a late bloomer, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I kind of
So
think
that
I'm
it's
I'm
very
intrigued
interesting to
by
see
them.
him get that money. It's good for
Hmm.
him too. He's earned
Sure.
it. Um, Trey McBride signs a 4 year, $76 million a year deal for the tight end position. You might as well pay Brock Bowers now before it's like
Yeah.
90, 95 million. Um, Trey McBride, I believe you and I both had him as our top 2, 3 Dynasty tight end, if I'm not mistaken, if we go back to the Dynasty tight
Hmm.
end episode. Very good. He just
I'm
needs to
looking
get
here.
touchdown. Yeah. Um, Having 2 touchdowns, I think, for like his career or 3 is like insane to think about. Let me see this real quick.
I got him 3 here.
So he
Bowers,
had 2
Laporta.
last
Right.
year and the 3 year before. He's gonna need. So yeah, it was 2 last year. I didn't mean to say career, but he needs to start scoring some fucking touchdowns, man. Otherwise,
Yeah.
he, like if he does, he could break fantasy. But like, dude, get in the fucking end zone. Like, you're paying
hmm
a guy $76 million for 6 touchdowns in his career. It's kind of insane to think about.
Yeah.
But just a damn good, reliable pass catching tight end. It's just, we're poking fun at the fact that he doesn't score, but,
hmm
he's a very good player. Another guy that fell victim to the Zach Ertz fiasco. Sat
Yeah.
behind Zach Ertz for a year.
hmm
Was he your dynasty tight end too? Did you say 2? I'm sorry,
3.
I just 3. All right, who do you have in
He
front of him?
was.
Laporta?
It was Laporta 2, and then Bowers 1.
Yeah, so okay. I think I have it flipped with him and Laporta. So
Okay.
I don't think you could go wrong either way. I think Laporta is
Mm-mm.
still very, very good. It's just now we have locked in money for Trey McBride, right?
hmm
So that's never a bad thing.
Sure.
Last 2 bits of news here, and it's going to be it's going to be quarterback news again. Joe Flacco signs with the Cleveland Browns, 1 year, $4 million deal. Rich, who's the starter for the Cleveland Browns next year? Kenny Pickett or
Mm,
Joe Flacco right now?
I'm not sure if he's. I'm not sure he's on the team yet.
You think they draft a quarterback?
I mean, if I'm Cleveland, if Cam Ward is there, I'm taking him.
It's not going to happen. I think
If
so.
if
What
if
I've
he's
been
not there, I'm taking Abdul Carter. So
so here's the things that I've heard recently. I've heard Tennessee shut down all their interviews, and people are thinking they're taking Cam Ward no matter what. Like I've heard they've canceled their meetings with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. So I've heard that he's pretty much the lock one at this point. I've
damn,
heard
they're giving up.
recently,
They're giving up on Will, your boy.
yeah, they are. It's a shame. Um, I've heard recently that Travis Hunter is the guy for Cleveland.
That would be.
Fun, but
It would be fun, but who the fuck's throwing on the ball?
Joe Flacco is
Um.
going to throw 40. Joe Flacco is going to throw 30 times and just at least let it rip, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
might not be the same guy anymore at 40 years old, but he's going to put the ball out there, whether it be, a 40-yard bomb or a 10-yard pass. It remains to be seen, but it's a guy who's
Yeah.
going to throw the football, right? And they're going to let him throw it. I think
But I
he
mean,
starts over Kenny Pickett unless they draft a guy. Like I think Flacco starts the season as the Cleveland Browns quarterback if they don't take one at 2. Obviously, if you take one at 2, you're
yeah,
telling us
then
that's
it's gonna
probably
be
your
him.
starter.
Sure.
But I could see them taking a guy again, maybe a Bull Howard second, third, Milroe second, third. Um, that could be a guy that could sit behind both of those players. They've pretty much admitted recently that the Deshaun Watson deal has set them back. So, you got to kind of adjust to that.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in Joe Flacco there, though, to be honest with you.
I mean, man, now that I've Travis Hunter, yeah, it's like there's a lot of guys, but dude, can you imagine Miles Garrett and Carter on
Echo
the
Carter.
other side?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude. And they've
Now,
always had they've always had like a solid defense. Like they've had guys, but like don't go drafting just because you're enamored by the Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like
right.
if your guy's not there, then it's like, what do? You
Right.
kind of like they said, like you said, they admitted they kind of got screwed by the Deshaun Watson deal. So it's like,
Mm.
I don't know. If Cam Ward falls there, take Cam Ward. And
I think
listen,
they would, but I don't think it's going to happen.
we've been on the dead cap hit, and guess what happens? We
We
win
get out of
fucking
it
Super
eventually.
Bowls, baby.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
When it comes to Joe Flacco and his dynasty value, what are you doing? Are you, if you have him, are you selling?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Are you
not
putting
buying
them on
them,
the
but I'm
block to
selling them.
see? Yeah, to see if
Hell
anybody
yeah.
throws something at you.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I would wait. I don't think anybody's buying right now. I think everybody's like, oh, this is cool. Joe Flacco's there, right? I think if they come out and say he's a starter week 1 is when the time you like, okay, you throw him on the block. See who
Mhm,
really needs a quarterback, right? You could probably any fourth, right? You could send them,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
4th round pick, you can have him.
I'm taking
40
it.
years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm picking that
He
up.
might even be on some waiver wires right now, so you might as well go pick him up. Um, again, this is a dude who's going to feed some wide receivers, right? Whether it's Jerry Jeudy, Travis Hunter, Cedric Tillman, maybe. Michael Pittman in his 6 games with Joe Flacco last year, 31 receptions, 380 yards, and 3 TDs. Kind of a Cedric Tillman type X player,
Yeah.
So maybe Tillman gets a slight bump. I don't know. But if they bring in Travis Hunter, everybody's dead in the water except for Travis Hunter, to be honest with you, because he's the one, right?
Mm,
But Joe Flacco there, I think that rises some of the pass catching ships, not so much his dynasty value.
I can agree with that.
Last bit of news here. It's actually something that kind of just happened recently before we went on the air. Derek Carr's shoulder injury threatens his season, weighing options. I don't know if you saw this before we got on. They might be without Derek Carr.
Awfully
year.
convenient this happens.
Yeah, right before the draft.
Yeah.
Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you think it's possible they take a quarterback at pick 9?
Yeah, with Kellen Moore going down there, kind of wanting to pick his guy, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it a smart move? Probably not. But
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
who are they going to take? Who would they take? Was Shedeur?
I think Shedeur in a Kellen Moore system would be very good. I actually would be very interested. So you and I don't.
If he falls at 9, no.
Yeah, if he falls to 9, we don't hate Shedeur. We think he's solid, right? We also don't see him as a top 5 pick in the NFL draft like he was at one point. Starting to slip a little bit. You're at the 9th pick right now. Maybe still a little bit early, but you have a rookie head coach, right? A guy who, in Kellen Moore, that likes these kind of quarterbacks that can get it to the open wide receiver, make some nice throws, makes the right reads. Shedeur Sanders is that guy, man. A guy who was at 72% completion percentage last year. Shedeur in that offense would be sneaky good if Chris Olave is healthy. There's a lot of ifs in this offense.
Yeah.
If Chris Olave is healthy, if Rashid Shaheed is healthy, if Kamar is healthy, if they don't go into bankruptcy. So I would be very interested in Shedeur there. Well, I don't know about you. What would you think?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, like I said, I think Dark's better. But I think
Shedeur fits Kellen Moore's system more than a Dark does.
Sure. I think so too. I can agree with that.
Like a pocket passer kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think that fits him more because he's, Jalen Hurts was more of a pocket passer last year. Obviously, he could run the tush push, but it wasn't like a lot of whole design runs or anything like that as much as we've seen in recent years. He had Justin Herbert. He had Dak, who was a mobile guy, but they wanted him to step back and throw. And Shedeur's kind of like a mix of like that Dak kind of player, right? Who can move a little bit, but that's not his forte. It's not his Matt Forte, so to speak. I would be very interested there. And I think they should add another wide receiver too, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But Rich, one thing we forgot to mention at the top of the episode here, we are going to be doing 3 rookie profiles tonight. We are going to be doing Cam Skattebo, running back, Arizona State, Jaylin Noel, wide receiver, Iowa State, and tight end, Mason Taylor from LSU, son of who, Richard?
Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer.
Exactly. Jason Taylor, Hall of Famer. Rich, I will let you decide who would you like to start with first.
Let's start with Mr. Taylor.
Mason Taylor, all right?
Yeah.
So let me just change the settings here.
Change them settings, baby.
That's what I'm doing right now. Very slowly.
Look how focused you look.
I know.
You look so focused.
Because I'm stressed. All right. Whoop, not the right one.
That's not even the right one.
All right.
Oh,
there is the card made by Richard, the front of the Mason Taylor card. 6'5", 251 pounds, like we said. LSU Tiger, big fella, at 6'5", 251. Rich, let's hear your thoughts first. Here, let's pull this up, the second page. What do you got for us? You want to read the stats off? What would you like to start with?
No, I mean, I just kind of described the guy, and I was kind of watching, watch his film, watch the games, obviously, as I got listed there, but he kind of is that typical tight end safety blanket. maybe not the first read, but you kind of dump it off to the guy. Physical guy, in my opinion, day 2 pick, maybe round 2, 3. The cons obviously are, like I said, like we talked about, a couple episodes ago, blocking. I feel like the difference between college blocking and pro blocking is light years difference. Because every tight end we break down, their cons are blocking. But he's a
I think
physical
he's better
guy.
than some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's always you watch and you're like, damn, this guy's like he's got some stuff to work on. But he's a physical guy. My biggest takeaway from him is he's a safety blanket type tight end, which is good. Which is I know it's who's looking for a tight end like that. In the Philadelphia Eagles that could use another safety blanket guy. You don't think
Howard
so?
fans coming here.
I mean,
They did just bring his former head coach here, but we're getting off topic. But yeah, God,
I've seen that all over the place. You've seen
I love it.
the Sixers one time brought in Damian Lillard's fucking shooting coach, and we thought we were getting Damian Lillard. But I digress. No, all around, I think he's. What do I have him at? 4, 5? What did we talk about? 5, 4,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. What are your thoughts on him?
So I like Mason Taylor. You mentioned safety blanket, average depth of target 8.6, right? A guy who is just going to be around the first down marker, right? Be an available target for the quarterback position. Not a guy who's going to win vertically or anything like that. He tested pretty well at the combine. What was his 40, by the way? I think I have it here. Oh no, I don't have it here. Where'd it go? Oh yes, I do have it. He ran a 4.68 for a guy who's 250 pounds. That doesn't really show on tape for me, to be honest with you.
No,
I don't see a guy who moves that fast, to be honest. But, not everybody's going to be an elite vertical asset like an Elijah Arroyo. They obviously play different games. Again, he's just going to be a guy who's going to get open quick, get holes open in the zone, just sit down for the quarterback, catch some passes. He had a 1.8% drop rate, so very reliable hands catcher guy. Strong hands as we have listed in our pros for him. Cons, blocking. I think it could be a bit better. I do think he's strong, so I do think he can just have to work on technique. And he will continue to get better. As a route runner, I don't think he's as refined. I see him, I wouldn't say lumbering or anything like that, but something he could use a little bit more nuance to his routes. That could come with time. But again, he was pretty productive last year. 55 receptions, 546 yards, 2 TDs. Just reliable pass catcher, man, and that's kind of what we want. As if we're not going to get the high end pass catching vertical threat type guys, you want the reliable targets, almost like a Hunter Henry kind of guy, or just a guy.
I was going to say like a Pat Fryermuth type tight end.
Yeah, he's more
I
athletic
know,
than Fryermuth, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is my tight end 5'6". I keep going
Okay.
back and forth between Gunnar Helm. I think I prefer Gunnar Helm to him, to be honest with you. It's just Gunnar does more after the catch, in my opinion, than Mason Taylor does. I think he's good, but I think Gunnar Helm to me is the better yards after catch guy. Let's get into our next dude here, and I will pick the first one or the next one. It's going to be Iowa State wide receiver Jaylin Noel, 5'10", 194 pounds. Not the biggest wide receiver, but he is a workout warrior from what you could tell by some of his combine stuff. Strong dude, feisty as all hell. But let's get into some things we have here for him. And that is, we're really just going to look at his 2024 stats. We have everything up on the screen here if you're watching, but 80 receptions, 1,194 yards, 8 TDs. We talked about Jaden Higgins, what was it, a couple weeks ago, right? Everybody was eating on this Iowa State offense as a pass catcher. So that's impressive. Let's talk about some PFF grades. 81.7 receiving grade, 2.62 yards per route run. He was 4th in the class in deep yards at 609. The biggest red flag here is 4 drops. We'll kind of get into that with the cons. What do you see with some of these stats here, Rich? Because, at least the past 3 years, especially this year, solid numbers across the board.
Pretty good. I see what I'm reading is like a guy, prototypical slot guy, in my opinion. I think it'd make for a nice slot guy. 1194. He like from 2023 to 2024 took off. That's a huge goddamn jump. That's almost 1,200 yards.
Well, he went up consistently every single year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. From
300
21,
yards almost
yeah,
every single year.
yeah. So it's a guy who kind of like, to me, if I'm reading that, that's a guy who works at his craft, a guy who shows he wants to improve, and kind of get better each year. And that's the kind of guy I want on my football team.
Yeah, for sure. Some pros: vertical threat, stacks defenders. His reception perception came out, Rich. And if you're not familiar with reception perception, it is it's run by Matt Harmon, who's a gentleman who goes and charts every single route that a wide receiver runs this past season and gets their success rate on that route and how much they run those routes. So there's charts for that. He was a 70% corner route runner, a 83% success post route, 84% dig route, 77% out route, 87% comebacks, 58% 9 route success rate. This is a guy who wins down the field. Kind of like my pro comp that I have at Tyler Lockett, a dude who wins down the field. Great speed, twitchy route runner, guy who can manipulate defenders, attacks the ball in the air. Even for his smaller frame, he can win those contested catches. His acceleration is, that kind of goes into the fact that the vertical speed and stacks defenders. His acceleration, especially off the line of scrimmage, is very impressive to me. What do you think in the pros here, Rich?
Yeah, you know what? His vertical thread did. I love the Tyler Lockett comp, who's the consummate professional. Who's still, is he still out there?
He's a
Free
free
agency,
agent,
I
yeah.
guess. Okay. But he's been in Seattle for a decade, and he was the guy. So if he turns out to be like Tyler Lockett, he's going to have one hell of a career.
Yeah, if he's just a consistent wide receiver too,
Yeah,
for
he's
an
going to see
NFL
playing
franchise.
time. Yep.
Yeah, to me, his fantasy floor or his fantasy ceiling, right, is a back end wide receiver 2, like in that 22 to 24 range,
Okay.
or a high end 3, like that, 26 to 30 range or 28 range, right? I see those 2 range of outcomes for him as being like his ceiling. That's solid. Tyler Lockett, we've seen him be a wide receiver 1, right? There's things on film that I see him being a Tyler Lockett-esque player. Do I think he hits that ceiling? I have no idea. We've seen Tyler Lockett be just a steady Eddie wide receiver 2 in his career. But I mean, I'm kind of contradicting myself. I said the floor is a wide receiver 2. Tyler Lockett was a wide receiver 2. So yeah, I guess that is pretty much the same thing. But I could see him fitting in that range of outcomes.
And what round do you see him going in?
The way his stock's been rising recently, he's second round pick, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I've seen him around wide receiver 8.
Yeah. I could see him being like there. So if we're going to predict the first round, looking at like a Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Ibuka, who am I missing? I think Luther Burden's still a first round pick. I've kind of seen him slip a little bit. But then you're talking after that, you're talking Noel, Higgins, Jaylin Royals. Like, I think those guys are borderline second round picks, right at that like mid second round pick range. So I could see Noel in that spot. At worst case scenario, early third round, in my opinion. Worst case scenario. Some cons: catch radius. Obviously, we mentioned 5'10". Doesn't have the longest arms in the world. Just like his comp here, Tyler Lockett, not the best yards after catch wide receiver. You see a 4.2 yards after catch number for his PFF grades. This is a guy who goes
Right.
down pretty easily, which is pretty.
I mean, that's as expected.
Yeah. It's kind of
This guy
interesting,
his
though. I
size.
thought he'd be better after the catch with how kind of manipulative and well he moves within his routes. Like, I kind of expected like better footwork, a kind of guy who can make you miss, kind of, but like it's just not there.
Mhm.
Drops is another big issue for him. We mentioned 4 last year, but 19 in 4 years, 19 drops his full career. That's not good at all.
Mhm.
And more physical defenders seem to push him off his routes. Seem to give him a bit of issues. That's definitely something that is concerning, but is also to be expected for the size. What do you think,
Right.
Rich?
No, I agree with that. I mean, this guy is 5'10", 194. He's not even, over 200. Physical defenders are going to push him off. The yards after catch, he's going to be easy to take down. Not much you can work on really from that. I mean, you can bulk up, but as far as the catches, that's very fixable. There's technique and there's professional guys who he's going to work with who are going to eliminate that. I feel strongly that if you have an issue with drops and you get to the pros, they're going to either you're going to work on it and you're going to fix it, or you're going to be out.
Mhm.
So he's got really one option there.
Do you see him as a second round NFL pick?
Um, yeah. The way I probably would put him at 3 just because the way. Well, it's tough because I feel like he's a slot guy, but a lot of teams do now value the slot guy. Um, I probably feel more comfortable with third round, early
Okay.
early third round.
Is he on your radar for Dynasty?
Um, yeah, I mean, I like the comp. I think you're spot on with Tyler Lockett, and I've had Tyler Lockett in redraft a lot, and he was always a guy I can count on to get me double
Mhm.
digit points. So if he's anything close to that, then yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him as a second, third round rookie pick for Dynasty
Mhm.
drafts and mocks and stuff. Is that somewhere you'd be comfortable taking him?
Yeah, again, probably third.
Yeah, I think
I'd
that's.
probably
I
do
think in
third in the
that.
NFL draft, third in dynasty draft. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that third, like that 3, maybe that 211 to 3-3 is a good spot
Okay.
in that range
Okay.
of for him. At least right now. Like if he ends up being a fifth round pick, like fuck. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, we forgot to mention with Mason Taylor. I think he's gonna end up being like a third round pick in the NFL draft. And then he's been a third round rookie pick so far through mocks that I've seen. Kind of going in that tight end 4 or 5 range that we mentioned
Okay.
earlier. So just kind of the tight ends are almost like after the top 2 or 3 guys, it's almost pick your poison, and we've talked about that
Hmm.
almost ad nauseum. But we forgot to bring that up. Next, we're going to be. This is one of the best cards that you have done and we have done um, in these cards that we've made so far. This is the best one to me so far, and that is
Gracias.
going to be Cam Skattebo, Arizona State. We have him listed at. Did we have? Yeah, 5'9", 219
1919.
pounds. Uh, Low center of gravity type player. We're going to get into the pros and cons, but being 5'9", 219 pounds,
Hmm.
you have to have
Yeah.
low center of gravity. Like you have no choice at that point.
Right.
Um, let's let you lead off this one since you are the creator of this magnificent piece of art hanging in the
Yeah,
booth.
dude. This is a guy, dude. I'm like super intrigued by him, dude.
Mhm.
I only put it 23. What did I put? 24. Where was it? What was I looking at? 17, 11 yards, dude. Like that's unbelievable.
You
I
said
think
that
he's
like
just like
a third grader,
I
17,
don't know why
11.
it's 17, 11, but like 21, 21 touchdowns, dude. He's an absolute bulldozer of a player. He's fun as hell to watch. He's different. He's a different type of running back than we're used to seeing, especially in this draft. He's he's a human chode. All right. He is a
He's a
goddamn
human
guy
showed.
that I'm like I'm really intrigued to see where he lands.
Mhm.
Physical runner, obviously. Um
He has really no
yards
choice but to be.
no. Yards after contact, if you didn't at that size, then you were gonna have an issue. Um, he's a high motor guy. Obviously, he's a hard worker. Um, willing pass protector. I put that because he's not a fantastic pass protector, but He's willing to do the job. And he has the ability to catch the ball, which is pretty decent for, again, a guy his size, 5'9". He's a tiny little fella, but he can catch the ball.
219 fucking pounds is huge.
Speaking of 219 pounds in the cons, lack of speed. Is this a fucking no kidding? Ball security had a little bit of a fumblerooski issue.
10 fumbles in 4 years.
Yeah, and lateral agility, all things that coincide with his size. But dude, I'm like, he might be one of the most intriguing players, at least for me, in the NFL draft this year. What do you think?
So I like Cam. Third in yards after contact, 1,202 yards. He's fourth in missed tackles forced at 103. So that kind of coincides. Some, missed tackles forced can be like you bulldoze somebody, right? You force that missed tackle one way or another, right? He's tough, right? I don't know if he has the speed and lateral agility for the NFL game, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. I don't think he's the bell cow guy for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What concerns me about him is that he kind of looks just. You mentioned the human chode. He just screams big dum dum to me, like a big dummy. What?
The big dummy, huh?
Yeah, like I don't know if you saw the report. He's being sued for hurting one
Yeah.
of his teammates. Like,
Yeah.
and then like the rumor was that he, wasn't sick in that Texas championship game. He might have been a little partying the night before. Was the rumor?
This guy reminds me of someone.
Gronk or you?
I mean, if I could be sued by hurting some of my teammates and or not playing because I was a little hungover, I mean, hey, we all been there.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I listen, and then you go into the fact his combine workout where he said he had an injury, so he didn't run, but you did like the broad jump and shit like that. Like, what? You had a hamstring injury, so you couldn't run, but you fucking jumped? What?
Hey, listen, we got your boy Gunnar Helm did the same thing almost, but the same thing but opposite. Didn't tell anyone and just like
True.
ran everything into the fucking ground with a broken foot. It sounds like you don't like this guy.
I don't love him as much as everybody else, but I like him, if that makes sense. Like, I think. Go ahead.
It sounds no, this guy, in my opinion, whatever team he goes to is going to be a super handcuff. I think he's going to get down to the 3-yard line. He's going to vulture the shit at someone's touchdown, and he's going to get in the end zone because he's going to
I can
fucking
see that.
destroy.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see him being one of the top handcuff guys, like a Zach Charbonnet. Who else? Like Jordan Mason now in Minnesota. In that realm. So yeah, I could agree with that. I think some people see him more as like a every down back, and I don't know if I see that for him.
I'm
I
not
just don't know if
sure.
he has the lateral agility for that. Like he moves like the Tin Man sometimes when he's making cuts, right? But like he's gonna run through a motherfucker face. I like Skattebo. Don't take me wrong. I think he's gonna be a 4th round pick in the NFL draft, which is for a running back that's solid, right? For the running back position, that's okay or decent draft capital. I think he's going to be a 3rd round pick. That's where I've kind of seen him in rookie drafts, back in 2nd in some cases, depending on where you have him ranked. If you were to have him ranked right now, where do you have him?
Probably like 6, 5, 6, 6.
I have him at like 6, 7. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, I have to put the cons out there, right? We have to do it for every single one. I mentioned I love Jaylin Noel, but the drops and stuff, are a concern. The size is a concern. We can't just sugarcoat something because, like, this dude's a dog. You know what I mean? Cam Skattebo's a dog. Might be a dumb dog. He might be, you remember that cartoon, Two Stupid Dogs?
Damn, dude, you're killing the guy.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, he's a damn good football player, though. He really is. That Texas game might have been one of the most impressive. He threw a touchdown, I believe, right?
Dude, Yeah, he reminds me he's just a bro, dude. That's what he is. And it's like it is what it is. I think he's going to wherever he lands, I think he's going to bring high intensity and he's going to bring something that team is looking for. It's going to be awesome to see. I'm very intrigued by him, man.
What do you think his ceiling is for a fan? Like a hand, just a very solid handcuff, like
I agree.
like
Peyton
a
Hillis,
Dave Payne. Oh, Jesus Christ! Like
like a bowling ball.
like a less David Montgomery.
Brandon Jacobs.
Oh God! Holy God! That dude was how. Remember how big that dude was? Holy
A
shit!
giant. He was a fucking
Yeah,
giant, but he would fucking bulldoze people. I loved
yeah,
watching him play. I mean, he was a giant, but like I loved watching him play, dude.
yeah.
Because
I like
it
Brandon
was just like
Jacobs.
people would just stand there and be like, and they would just
He's tall,
boom right through him,
though. If
dude.
I'm not mistaken, Brandon Jacobs.
What's that?
See, Brandon Jacobs had to be taller than 5'9", though, right? That's a good
Oh
question.
yeah, yeah. He was just a big, what I mean, like a big
Scary human
brawny
being.
running back, like
Yeah,
not a prototypical running back type guy.
right, right. Is this somebody on your board?
I want him.
You want him? So let's
Well, I
play
shouldn't
this or
disclose that
that.
to you.
Let's
You'll
play this or
steal him from
that.
me. Sure.
Cam Skattebo or Devin Neal?
I'm good. Skattebo.
I got Neal on that one.
Because I feel
Just
like these are
better.
guys that are already like with Neil and with Skattebo, they're like second wave type guys, almost
Mhm.
guys that you want to take a chance on. Um, because by the time you get to those guys, you already got the guys that are you think are like the number one slotted guys.
Right. Damian Martinez or Skattebo?
That's a little bit tougher, but I'm still going Skattebo.
See,
I'm,
that one's tough for me as well. So I go Neal for the first one. So Martinez having 36 catches in his career is
Mhm,
alarming, like he's not a pass catcher.
right.
But if I were to pick a guy, or if I were to project a guy to be a dude that could carry the ball 18 to 25 times a game, it would be Damian Martinez because of the 215 pounds, 6 foot running back. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
that's a guy that could carry a full workload and still give
Yeah.
you the yards after contact, and he's a better lateral mover than Cam. Opposite flip side of the coin, Cam's going to
45
hire.
receptions.
Yeah, is going to offer you a shit ton more pass catching upside.
Hmm.
That one's tough for me because I'm a big Damian guy, but I think I would go the pass catching upside. It depends.
Yeah.
It's really going to come down to draft. Does Damian have a chance to be the bell cow on that team, right?
Mm.
Or does Cam go to a team where he has a chance to actually be the bell cow or the starter on that team? It just depends.
Yeah.
I agree though. He's got way more pass catching upside than Martinez
Yeah.
does.
And I feel like when you get to the NFL, I feel like running backs it's so much more of a wide open room.
Mhm.
So like he has every opportunity to come in there and be the number one guy wherever he goes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that will just about do it for our player profile episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be back next week. We are going to have a guest. Our good buddy Chev is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking. Whoa, that is the wrong graphic there. That is also the wrong graphic there. Our buddy Chev is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking some more player profiles. We're going to be ranking the two quarterback classes this year and last year's. Do a combined quarterback ranking evaluation. Who do we like better as prospects? Because that's been a heated discussion all over the Twitter sphere recently. If you haven't been paying attention, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.